You mentioned the white elephant. You described there's an airport being planned sa Bulacan, and you said it's going to turn into a white elephant in about 50 years. Can you expound more on this?
You know, that all comes from the position papers of the groups who are opposing it. Who are the groups that are opposing it? First, you have the fisher folk. Then you have the wild birds, because they're all affected. Then you have the like organizations like Oceana. They all got together, put a fantastic position paper, presented it to Congress, each provision and saying why they were against it, etc. And they were heard, and that was it. And they still went on with the same thing. I mean, they still went on approving the project. When you're what did I mean when I said white elephant? Kasi sinabi yung mga grupo, yung environmentalists, etc. Sabi nila, yung lugar na yan, in the first place, that is going to cover a river. In the two barangays in Bulacan, it will cover a river. It will remove the tidal flats, mud flats that are very, very important in trying to prevent flooding. Mawawala lahat yan. That's supposed to be public land, but never mind. Let's just talk about what will happen to that airport. That airport is going to be built 3 meters above ground. Okay? Para mawala na raw yung flooding. E nakalimutan nila na yung rate of subsidence ng yung parting yon, actually the entire Manila Bay, is about 3.6 centimeters a year. Yeah, it's going to be 1 meter in 12 years.
Yes.
Just do the arithmetic.
Yes.
Sinabi ko ba 36? 36 ba yun?
8.3 centimeters times 12 equals 99.6 centimeters. Yes.
Ayan, that's it.
So almost
8.3 centimeters times 12 years, that's 99 centimeters. That's almost 1 meter. That's why I said in 31 years, talagang underwater na itong ating airport. And the government is going to take it after 50 years. So after 50 years, that thing is going to be 2 meters below sea level. That's what I meant. And that comes from those people who are saying, why are you doing it there? Hindi ko pa nasasabi na that area is on the path of the wild birds travel from
sanctuary. Yes.
Canada,
Right.
etc. They go right over that area. So
Migratory,
there's danger of bird strikes. Ang dami thing. They brought this all out. So I said, what? If in 50 years it's all flooded, what will the government get? Nothing. Meanwhile, it has forgone all the income taxes and business taxes and value-added taxes and custom duties. In-exempt nila lahat. Diyos ko, sabi ko, ano ba naman yan? Yung sa batas, whenever it is a project that is what do you call that? A project that is unsolicited.
Yes.
Yes, unsolicited.
You are not allowed to give any form of subsidy, and yet they're giving it. So they are absolutely just ignoring the law as if it were not there, and we are all accepting it. Kasi hindi ko nakita ito eh. My attention was so focused on COVID and the effect on the economy that I let this all go. And then when I looked at my materials, I said, my God, this thing is such a
Pero wala
Yes,
pa, ma'am.
ma'am,
Do you think
on the position that a tax holiday, a tax break is in fact a subsidy, can that then be basis for a legal challenge to the contract?
Of course, but of course, if you talk about a subsidy, anything that represents, government's loss of funds is a subsidy, naturally, hindi ba? So you can challenge that, but let us see, where are you going to challenge it? In the Supreme Court? And after the president signed, the president allowed the bill to lapse.
To
He
lapse
was
into
smart.
law,
He
actually.
just allowed the bill to lapse, so he did not sign it. You know that he's not really too anxious about it, but anyway, the group, the civil society, filed the writ of kalikasan
Yeah.
in the Supreme Court. They filed it on December 15,
And it was jumped.
2020.
Yeah.
Would you believe that by January 5, meaning 15 days, and how many of those days were holidays? Sus, takot ng Christmas and New Year, etc. January 5, meron na silang decision saying that I think the decision was that the filing was insufficient in form.
To clarify there, then where this project currently stands.
Apparently,
The matter of the
it stands
ECC. I'm curious about the matter of the ECC. If you could qualify that. Obviously, as you said, people were given the chance to give their position papers. There must have been some EIA because there was some kind of an ECC. What exactly kind of ECC are we talking about here?
They don't even have a copy of it. The civil society groups, they asked for the environmental assessment, and apparently it's in the law that the environmental assessment does not have to be publicly shown.
How,
Oh, really?
but how could that be? Under the EIA law, community acceptance is a very explicit condition. How is that possible?
Well, you tell me, how is it possible? How is it possible that they are even building in Barangay Taliptip and whatever other barangay that is, because those barangays are forest protected, environmentally protected. And, it should not be even sold. And yet, apparently, it has been sold. So you tell me, how come that is?
Ma'am, let me put it this way, ma'am. Are you preparing are you preparing a legal challenge with this project?
Sweetie, I'm just writing about it because I'm looking at all these documents, and they seem to be absolutely credible, and they're talking about facts. When you're talking about 8.3 centimeters a year subsidence, that's a fact. That's not something that you just get out of thin air. When you talk about 200 hectares of mud flats, yung mud flats are the ones that they have absolute ability to carry water so that there's no flooding. Ayan, mawawala yan. You talk about a river that's going to be built over.
So what-
These are all against the law. And yet the law has given it. So don't ask me. You ask somebody in Congress.
Okay, what's this? So obviously, this was a political decision.
Transactional, my husband says.
Yeah.
This is what it is. The airport is 2,500 hectares. Okay, the airport, and then there's the Aero City, and apparently that's 12,000 hectares. Of which 2,500 is the airport. That's where the money is. Can you imagine all that? And while it is being constructed, not a single centavo will be paid to the government on any of the transactions undertaken for importations, customs duties, etc. It is such a sweet deal. It is unbelievable. This is glaringly different because this goes against the environmental, so many environmental laws and so many Philippine laws. All right, it's different. This is different also because the government has allowed itself to give a subsidy. How it can say that a tax exemption is not a subsidy, a customs duty exemption is not a subsidy, a value-added tax exemption is not a subsidy, I don't know.
Okay.
You know,
What about the provisions on sorry, Ami, go ahead.
So there is no precedent for this kind of project. You can't think of any project, maybe in the past 30 years, na ganito yung conditions for the project. You can think of a similar project.
well, in the past, I don't know, but this is a very huge project. It's 714 billion pesos, and some say it's going to be up to 1.3 trillion pesos. It's the largest project in the PPP list of projects. To give you an idea of the magnitude.
Yeah.
And you would think, oh boy, fantastic. There are gains, there will be people who are gaining, but the losses to the Philippines will be tremendous. And then the government thinks it's going to it's going to manage that airport. It will never do. That airport will be, I don't know, unless they do something humongous to rebuild it or to rehabilitate it. I don't know what they're going to do.